fourth and final quarter here at Cadillac High School as you are watching Northern Michigan's girl high school basketball coverage here on Newsnet Sports and CCTV as the Cadillac Vikings lead the Kingsley Stags 44-35. I'm Derek Tate alongside Dan Gussert. And in the third quarter, we saw an 8-0 run from the Stags to start the third quarter. Cadillac weathered the storm. However, they did outscore the Vikings by 5 points, and they only take a 9-point advantage to the fourth and final quarter.
Yeah, that's the offense we kind of expected to see from Kingsley as they put 15 on the board just in that quarter, and they only had 20 at halftime.
As Cadillac has been very stout defensively all season long. In fact, this is the most points that Cadillac has given up to an opponent the entire season. However, we do know that Kingsley can score quickly, and they proved that going on an 8-0 run in the third period. But it was still Molly Anderson and McKenna Bryant carrying the offensive load. They've combined for 29 of Cadillac's 44 points.
And we've seen that from them all season long and a season ago. And certainly for this Kingsley Stag team, Brittany Bowman has just had an outstanding offensive game, and she's money from the line.
As the Stags continue to attack the paint and try to get to the charity stripe, and where they've been incredibly efficient throughout this game. Aaliyah Reno will start with the ball as the Stags have possession, trying to cut into a 9-point deficit. Maddie Buys goes right by her defender, gets her own miss, now kicks it out to an open Sydney Hessam who can't connect. Dunlap with the offensive possession, a third possession here for Kingsley. Reno into the lane, and she gets it to go.
That's a big offensive possession right there as they just owned Cadillac interior.
44-37, Vikings in the lead, and here's a three-point attempt that's way off the mark from Meyer. Bowman with the rebound. And another quarter where Kingsley has started off aggressive, as that time Reno goes into way too much traffic. No call. Good defense from Cadillac.
That's probably a real good no call right there. Kingsley retains possession. She kind of was forcing a shot right there. Cadillac's defense was pretty solid.
Seven-point lead for Cadillac. But it has been Kingsley who has outscored the Vikings by 7 points here in the second half, but that pass just out of the reach of Maddie Buys, and another turnover for Kingsley.
I like the look. I think that is an extremely tough pass for a player to catch, though, especially girls basketball.
Drabeck brings it across midcourt. And there's a reach-in foul on Aaliyah Reno.
You know, that's a pretty smart move by Maddie Drabeck right there. She kind of took a little hesitation dribble and cut across her defender and kind of almost forced her to make that foul.
A little crafty veteran move, I would call it. As we know that Kingsley has been much more aggressive on the defensive end. Anderson picks up her dribble and gets it across the half-court line to Drabeck. Seeley passes on the open three. Anderson blows right by Maddie Buys, and a beautiful finish. That's 17 for Molly Anderson.
Little Euro step right there. Great back cut for her. Finished it up well.
46-37, and that is out of bounds on Kingsley. Reno couldn't handle it. And it's going to be a timeout from the Cadillac Vikings. Head coach Mike McLaurin trying to rally the troops and calm everybody down. But while we have a break, let's go ahead and thank some of our sponsors.
Yeah, our sponsors tonight, Pizza Plus, Cadillac's local source for pizza and sandwiches for over 50 years. Fox Motors of Cadillac, your local Ford and Toyota dealership. Cadillac Tire Center, your hometown tire dealer. And if you're out there and you're watching and you're a business or you know somebody and you'd like to join that group and help us bring you the broadcasts that we will do this year, both boys, girls basketball, and hockey, give the station a phone call.
Absolutely. Of course, you can order DVD copies of the entire season or individual games by visiting yournewsnet.com. And you mentioned earlier, I do love the camouflage. I mean, we can get a shot of that maybe eventually here as some of the stands over. Gotta love the school spirit.
You do, and certainly I think when your team is successful, and the Cadillac team has been for a season and a half now, you get a lot of backing by your classmates, and it's great to see them here. And we'll see just as many, if not more, when the boys play Thursday night here. We cover that game on Newsnet, so looking forward to seeing what theme that'll be.
You mentioned that the girls varsity team here for the Vikings. Last year they went to the state semifinals. Not much further that you can go without grabbing a ring. But here we are, Vikings, as we resume action. 6-minute mark remaining in this game. 9-point lead for Cadillac. And a high pass that Meyer is able to get her hands on. She hands it off to Molly Anderson. Still no McKenna Bryant. She's got 4 personal fouls. Seeley swings it over to Anderson. Game high 17 points for Molly. Seeley doubled. Anderson, that one blocked from Reno. But the loose ball corralled by Meyer. Cadillac gets it back.
It's a very good offensive possession right here by the Vikings. They've been pretty patient, and you certainly would expect to see one of those experienced players end up with a shot here like you had Molly right there. You might see Olivia Meyer. And I'd be wrong as we see sophomore Emma McTaggart with a super strong offensive move right there.
We saw the little 2-gal game between the little high screen and roll, and a perfect find there from Molly Anderson. And McTaggart, baseline spin with a strong move.
And I think I called her sophomore Emma as a junior. Sorry about that. She steps to the line. Drains it.
McTaggart, who missed her first 2 offerings at the charity stripe earlier, knocks down this one. She's got 3 points and looking for her 4th, as the lead now is back up to double digits. And that one rattles in and out.
There's an unfortunate thing. Okay, that's going to be a basket put in by Kingsley at the wrong basket. You know what? Sydney has had a great game here tonight. She just forgot where she was. Kind of heart goes out to her right there. I believe the credit for the shot will go to the last Viking to touch that, which would be McTaggart. Not sure, though.
McTaggart technically has 5 points, and a tough one there for Sydney Hassam, who's actually had a pretty good second half. Reno's got an open 3. Yes, ma'am. Kingsley continues to scrap their way into this. The lead is back down to single digits. Reno applying backcourt pressure. Now it's Seeley, the freshman, who brings it across midcourt.
Reno has 14 points here tonight, Derek. That's her 3rd triple of the game.
Reno's been very active on both ends of the ball. Both ends of the court, and there is a hold. And it's going to be Kingsley ball. They're going to call that on McTaggart.
Yeah, I think that was behind the play, off the ball, if you will.
And that is a costly turnover, as now it's single-digit game, as Kingsley just refuses to go away despite Cadillac being in control for the majority and leading all the way from the jump.
McTaggart steps out as that was her 4th foul, and looks like Anna Whipple's checked in for the Vikings.
Reno brings it across midcourt. Beautiful find. Bowman to Maddie Buys, and now it's a 7-point game.
Timeout. Is that what happened right after that, Derek? Is that a quick timeout? It was, wasn't it?
It is a quick timeout from Mike McLaurin, the head coach of the Cadillac Vikings, as we just see the Stags refuse to go away. And as we have a chance, might as well go ahead and thank the folks that allow us to be able to call these games, as they're working the cameras and the director's truck. A big shout out to our production crew.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aaron. Back in the truck, Aaron Dusa. And running the cameras out there tonight, Damian Brooks, Spencer Olson, and Zach Wiggins. We appreciate all that they do. High school students here joining our crew to help us bring this broadcast. and possible careers for them someday.
Absolutely. First broadcast of the 2020 season over here at Newsnet Sports and CCTV. Now, one thing that we haven't seen ever since that technical foul against McKenna Bryant, she has not re-entered this game up to this point. And now we have a 7-point game, a little bit of a run from Kingsley as the lead did swell back up to double digits, but the Stags refused to go away.
And that was McKenna's 4th foul, not the technical, but preceding that. And certainly I think Coach McLaurin here with 4 minutes to play, he's saying, you know what, I got a 7-point lead. I'm going to be patient with her. And we see Kingsley change defense, come out with a little, I think a half-court trap right here. We'll see how they play this.
Molly Anderson drops it over to Drabeck across midcourt, and you called it. Half-court pressure entering the game. Anna Whipple, the sophomore.
They stay in a zone out of this. We saw that from them right before halftime.
And they are swarming whoever the ball handler is. And it's going to be a timeout as head coach McLaurin saw a different defensive look, decided to go ahead and try to find a different way to try to attack the zone.
And that's a great offense or defensive call by Kingsley right there. Just change it up. Throw that wrinkle at it. Even if they didn't get a turnover, they forced the Vikings to use another timeout, and they're precious in a tight ball game like this.
As head coach Matt Skelich of the Stags has made some nice halftime adjustments. They've still outscored in totality in the second half the Cadillac Vikings by 7 points.
This is a great high school girls non-conference basketball team. From a coaching standpoint, win or lose, your team got better tonight because of the level of the competition of the other team. And those are the kind of non-conference games I think that as a coach, you got to go and find your athletic director afterwards and say thanks. That's really going to help us later on in the season.
We've seen some great guard play on both ends. Namely, of course, before McKenna Bryant even exited this game, she had 14 points. Of course, Molly Anderson with a game-high 19 points. Then on the other end, we've seen Brittany Bowman and Aaliyah Reno carrying the offensive load for the Stags.
And how about the growth right now for this younger group of the Vikings, the sophomores and the freshmen, with McKenna Bryant on the bench in a nail-biter of a ball game. This helps them as the season goes on, too.
As the inbound goes to the freshman Jocelyn Seeley. And Drabeck passes on an open three as Cadillac trying to find the shot they want. And a wide open underneath is Michaela Knight, who is going to be fouled by Reno. It's actually a very good foul to make her earn it at the free throw line, and a good find, and she'll shoot 2.
Yeah, that's one I think as a coach you're thinking we got to bury that basket. McKenna didn't do anything special on that. She just saw her player turn her head and made a quick cut, and she's going to the line.
Kayla Knight has 2 points so far in this one. That'll be the 3rd, and that's a big free throw. You got to make your free throws late in any level of basketball, but in particular high school basketball.
Got awful quiet here for the first time in a long time. Cadillac's crowd really quiet, and I sometimes think that makes it a little harder to shoot the free throw.
Goes 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. 8-point lead for Cadillac, and there is a turnover from the Stags. That one.
Unforced error.
Absolutely. I mean, it's already tough enough when Cadillac's defense is all over you. Another unforced error. Anderson with a cross-court pass. As they decide to settle it down, we're at the 3-minute mark. 8-point game. Vikings on top. And there is an and one. They're going to wave off the bucket and just call it a blocking foul. That one on Maddie Buys. It easily could have been a continuation.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough call. Certainly as a Kingsley crowd, Kingsley fan, you're thinking, no, that was before the shot. Cadillac's thinking, no, that's on the shot. That's a tough call. To me, that was a basket, but that's all right. She's got to earn them now.
1-and-1 opportunity for Molly Anderson. And Anderson's off the mark as the foul proves to be the right decision. And here come the Stags. 8-point deficit, 2:50 remaining. They go to Dunlap, doubled, swings it back over as the Stags trying to find a good shot. Oh, great find. Great pass from Aker, but great, even better defense from Cadillac. Molly Anderson, a game-high 19 points. She finds Olivia Meyer back over to the freshman who's gotten a ton of minutes tonight. That's Jocelyn Seeley. Drabeck, that pass tipped.
That's who Cadillac wants it right now, to step to the line. Kingsley not ready to make a foul, and as I say that, they do. You know, I'm wondering right now with McKenna Bryant with that 4th team foul, but losing her temper, getting that technical foul, you know, that might be Cadillac's coaching staff saying to McKenna, hey, that's not what we need you to do. You are a leader of this team, and we're going to let you watch. And early in the season, you know, it can be a very valuable learning lesson for her.
As Anderson hits the 20-point mark with that free throw, and it's a 9-point lead as Cadillac can get this back up to double digits just over the 2-minute mark remaining in tonight's contest. Anderson knocks down a pair. 21 for Molly Anderson. It's a 10-point deficit for the Stags. They've got to get to work in a hurry. And tough bucket, but a nice one from Leorino. 52-44. Vikings still on top. Reach-in foul, that one going to be on Reno.
I think that's the 10th team foul, so the Vikings will shoot 2 from now on. And then, like you said about 2 minutes ago, Derek, it's going to come down to making some free throws right now.
Yeah, it looks like...
Is that Drabeck at the line with the finger all taped up?
Yeah, Drabeck did hit a three-pointer earlier in this game. She's got 3 points. This is her first trip to the free throw line. Trying to salt this one away for Cadillac. And that one rattles in and out.
This is a big one right here, as the possession or the lead is just 8. You want to make this just for the momentum standpoint, also to allow your team to get in a little bit of a defensive readiness position.
And Drabeck comes up empty. Reno snares the rebound. 8-point game. Bowman. Her pass is tipped by Drabeck and handled by Molly Anderson. Another forced turnover.
Great play. Maddie misses both free throws down on one end, comes back and makes a stellar defensive play.
1:30 remaining. 8-point lead for the Vikings. Anderson seems content to dribble in the backcourt. Now she's doubled. Meyer finds McTaggart to the freshman, Seeley. And back out to Anderson. Vikings looking to go to 5-0, and Anderson turns it over. But great hustle from Olivia Meyer to track down the loose ball.
That's just great anticipation on her part, as she got into position long before she made that steal. I think we got another quick timeout here.
Yeah, Meyer dribbled herself into trouble in the backcourt. Picked up her dribble, but a quick timeout from the Cadillac Vikings. As, tell you what, it's an 8-point game, 3-possession game with just, well, that's actually the clock timeout that's running down, so I don't have the exact timing left.
A little less than a minute.
A little less than a minute. We're getting there. If Cadillac can hold on, though, and improve to 5-0 on the season, like you said, this is kind of the start that you're looking for if you're head coach Mike McLaurin.
Absolutely, and a great battle here tonight. Somebody's going to walk away with a loss, but both teams have really played intense, very good, spirited basketball, really good sportsmanship by both teams. It's been a joy to watch this game.
As next up for this varsity girls basketball team for the Cadillac Vikings, they'll face off against Alpena. Salute to service night.
Salute to service night here. Alpena making a long trip across all the way from Lake Huron over to this side of the state. Not a trip I've enjoyed making over to Alpena when my kids were playing sports, just a long way and not an easy way to get there, but it's really a really cool town.
And that'll be always a great night for Salute to Service night. Always one that's enjoyable, whether it's on the gridiron, on the basketball court at center ice. Here are the Vikings with 53 seconds to run off. Anderson inbounded and a little foul on the back. That one from number 22, Maddie Buys, and Anderson will look to add to her game-high 21 points.
That's a great offensive set out of the timeout there. Just some real good screens by the Vikings, set up by the coaching staff. Get the ball in the hands of who you want it in, and she does the rest.
And that one off the mark from Molly Anderson. She averaged 15 points per game last year, and we've seen her now in back-to-back contests get over the 20-point threshold. Her second offering, that one off the front iron, stays an 8-point game, just under 50 seconds remaining. And a nice find to Dunlap, and now it's a 6-point game and a timeout.
I think we had a little travel before she made that pass, unseen by the officials, but it's a big turning point as Molly misses both, and the Vikings don't get back on defense and give up a bunny to cut it to 6.
Quick score that only took around 6 seconds off the clock. So now it's a 2-possession game, 2 3-pointers, and we're all knotted up. And it's been Cadillac. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they've had opportunities, plenty of opportunities to salt this away at the free throw line and just have been unable to shut the door.
Absolutely. They've really struggled from the free throw line, especially here in the second half, and it's been just the opposite for Kingsley. It's really what's kept them in the game is they've been just proficient from the line here tonight.
Their aggression in getting to the charity stripe, and particularly the senior, Brittany Bowman, has been very aggressive on the offensive end. We see that Bowman is not on the floor. I believe she may be around 4 personal fouls, so hopefully maybe some defense for offense substitutions.
Good catch on that. You know, I'm thinking if I'm Kingsley, you know, Molly just missed 2 free throws. I still don't want her to get the ball and get to that line. Olivia Meyer is, and we've watched her, she's just very good from the free throw line. If I'm doing this, I'm letting the freshman catch the ball and I'm putting her to the line instantly.
They are doubling Molly Anderson off the inbound, and it is going to go to Olivia Meyer, and she is fouled, and we'll see that's on number 3, Miranda Aker. I'm not sure how many fouls on the game that Aaliyah Reno, number 11, the senior guard, has. But that may have potentially kept her on the floor. I think she's around 3 or 4 personal fouls. But at the line, the junior, Olivia Meyer, and she can't connect on her first offering.
This is big because right now it's just a 2-possession game. You know, Cadillac's got to be a little nervous right here, maybe a little jelly-legged, as we've seen, I think, 3, maybe 4 free throws in a row missed.
The last 3 free throws now make it 4, have all missed. Reno corrals the rebound. Dunlap with 36 seconds left, 6-point game. Aker over to Bowman, now to Reno. Precious seconds ticking off the clock. Reno fires a corner 3, just off the back iron. Buys keeps it alive. Reno corrals the loose ball. Buys, up fake to the rack, and she is fouled by Olivia Meyer.
You know, that took a lot of time. Cadillac did a great job out the missed free throws of finding their players, slowing Kingsley down, and making them run an offense.
I'll ask you this, because of 14 seconds remaining, do you try to miss the second one intentionally to try to get an extra possession?
I think as Kingsley, you're playing the possession. You know, I don't know that that's something you honestly would work on with the team a whole lot. I think it makes good sense from where we're at. I don't know if Kingsley would miss intentionally. They just make everything from the free throw line anyway.
Maddie Buys knocks down the first one. Here's her second offering. She goes 2 for 2. There's a quick inbound to Molly Anderson, and she's fouled by Maddie Buys. 4-point game.
Yeah, Maddie Buys makes those 2 free throws. She's 6 for 6 from the line. Brittany Bowman has missed just 1 out of 10 attempts. They just don't miss.
Anderson has missed 4 free throws in this contest. She still has a game-high 21 points, and she knocks down a clutch free throw, and the lead swells back to 5. Anderson goes 2 for 2. Clutch shooting from the free throw line, and now the Stags got to hurry. Reno across midcourt. They need 2 3-pointers to even have a chance to tie this one up, and that's a turnover. Drabick comes away with the steal, and that's going to do it as the Cadillac Vikings stay perfect on the season as they improve to 5-0 as they top the Kingsley Stags by a final score of 54-48. Fantastic game here on Newsnet Sports and CCTV. We're going to have some post-game. We're probably going to have ourselves a post-game interview. With
Absolutely. We'll see if we get somebody up here from Coach Mack.
From Coach Mack, and ultimately this one was a fantastic game. Any final thoughts?
Boy, what a ball game. And just absolutely the intensity was fantastic, but the intelligent play by both teams was just something to watch.
Both teams left it out on the court, but ultimately it was the Cadillac Vikings who triumphed and improved to 5-0 on the season. So we'll be right back with our post-game show here on Newsnet Sports and CCTV.